Oh, hello. I'm a little bit late. I'm so sorry. It's Vanessa Talbot, a profile builder for coaches and change makers and experts. I help you get seen and get known so you can reach more people, have more impact and more influence, and of course, attract more clients and put yourself on the radar of other influencers so that you can attract more opportunities as well. That's the good stuff about what I do. Lots and lots of fun and lots of amazing people for me to work with. I am talking Facebook groups. As you know, I've been doing a fair few lives lately on the whole concept of Facebook groups. So it's not about being a member of a Facebook group, but it's for those people who have your own Facebook group. And I'm giving some tips on that. A lot of Facebook groups get stuck, not growing. They might stay at a certain level. They're not getting enough high engagement. And so therefore the community isn't there, so therefore it's harder to get people into your programs as well if you're selling something or you're not monetizing your group at all. So I'm going to give tips today on how to deal with unruly behavior in your group. So, you know, the fact is, the bigger your group is, the more likely you are to get elements that come in that are not there to join the community. They're only there for their own worth, in the sense of they just want to spam. Now, some of them may not see it as spamming. They don't see it in the same way that you or I might define spam. So everyone's definition of spam is obviously very, very different. So the first thing you have to understand is, what is your definition of spam when it comes to your group? So what behavior will you accept and what behavior will you not for your group? So before you even, start your group, you must set those boundaries in place. With spam, that comes in a multiple amount of ways. And if we're looking at the standard spam where it's hit and run, whether they're selling, Ray-Ban sunglasses, or whether they're spamming their coaching services or their latest program or whatever, and you feel it's under your definition of spam, and that particular person does not contribute in any other way to your group, so they're just coming in, posting and then disappearing again to come back and post the next day or whatever, the same thing over and over again. That is spam, right? Especially if they're not coming from a group contribution type place. So what do you do there with that type of spam? It's easy. Okay, you don't have to worry about these people, because these are elements that you don't want in your group anyway, because they're not there to add to your group. So even though they might be numbers, particularly of concern with people when they're trying to grow their group in numbers, you still don't want that sort of element. Just simple for that sort of spam: delete and block. That's simple. You want to block them, because trust me, if you don't block them, they will be asking to come back in again. And if one of your admin or something do not know that that person has been blocked from the group, they may let them in again, and you're faced with the same person all over again. So it's very simple: delete and block. This is where, as a group owner, creator, you really have to stay aligned to your bigger vision of what your group is for, and not get stuck into the concept of worrying about what other people are going to think of you. And also remember, if you are deleting and blocking the spam, okay, so the spammer may not like you, who cares? But your group members will love you, because you're protecting the space for them. So always stay aligned with the bigger vision for your group. Always tap into what was the purpose. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is delete and block those elements that you consider as the hit and run spams. They just need to go. Boom. The second one that you will get to deal with in your group, and this is the one that's probably a little bit harder to deal with than the straight, oh, that's just spam, I'm just going to delete and block them. That's people who are giving value in your group, Yep, I say that too. Amen. Thank you, Kevin. These are the people who are giving value in the group. So they'll come in and post, you know, a post that people can learn from in your group. So you feel that their posts have value, but they're doing it with things that are not allowed within your group guidelines. And that's things like, you know, I'm just using for an example here, okay? And not every group is the same, which is why it is so important for members who join any group to first of all check out the group guidelines, because not all groups have the same guidelines. Some groups you're allowed to put links and everything else. Some groups have a really strict policy and they want none of that at all. We kind of sit in the middle, okay? So we have our days for links and the days not. So you've got someone who's giving value, but they're doing it outside of your group guidelines. You know, they might be adding links with their message. They might be adding a call to action with their message, as in, you know, PM me if you want to join my coaching program or something like that. They might be doing videos, you know, and clogging it all up with heaps and heaps of videos. And let's face it, most people in groups don't actually watch the videos, or they might be doing live streams, and you may not allow live streams on your group unless it's you. And that's fair enough, because you're the group owner, so you can have your own rules. But whatever your rule is, if you've got people who you value as you feel that they can contribute to your community, but they are not following group guidelines, how do you reprimand them without coming across as, you know, overly strong or a bully? And yet you still need to be able to make them understand what they're doing is wrong. Okay, in the early days when your group is smaller, I think a private message is perfect, because it will be more infrequent. You've got less members, it's not going to happen as often. So just a quick little message saying, you know, hey John Doe, thanks so much, loving your contributions, but please bear in mind that we only allow you know, selling on our Wednesday's offer day. So we love your posts, please take out the offer. So private message works really, really well. But what happens when your group grows in numbers? And this is more frequent. So, you know, unless you've got a million teams of admin, you know, if it's just you on your own, or even you and a helper, sending out private message all the time to people who are not following the group guidelines, I can tell you, it just gets too much. And your time as a group should not be playing policeman. Okay, so you don't want to be sitting there sending out private messages all day long. Your job is to build a coaching business and work with your clients. So I find the easiest thing, and some people are not always happy about this method, but I'm sorry, as a group grows, it's the easiest method. You will just get too big to send out a whole heap of private messages. Now, bear in mind, if you want to send out private messages, it is a good way to do it. So it comes down to time management, if you can. If you can't, the thread. So the thread has to be non-threatening, okay? So because remember, people are going to be named and they may see it as shamed, because you're going to have to tag the people who are not following the guidelines in your thread around this. So the thread, you would just have something. I mean, check out what we do. Hi, we love your faces, we love your information. Just bear in mind that we have a few guidelines. Can you please check the description? Here's what you did wrong, type thing. And then we just tag them and let them know what they did that was outside of the group guidelines for that day. You will have the issue where some people get a bit offended and they kind of think that they've been named and shamed. So you've got to be extremely careful with your wording. And I must say that Fergus, my admin, one of my admins, is probably much better at it than me. I can be very direct. Fergus is probably a bit better with the way she words it. So she takes care of all that. I don't have time to be overly wordy. I'll just say, this is what you did wrong. But Fergus does it the better way. So Have someone who's good with words, if you are yourself, and be able to express in a way that's non-threatening to the person what it is that they did wrong. Yes, they will be in that thread where everyone's been named and shamed, but it's not about being shamed, and you must put that up front. We are really just trying to keep the group the space that everyone wants it to be. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Well, yes, I do show respect. I'm just probably not as take as much time with my words. I am a very direct speaker, as Fergus does. And I love my group members, absolutely adore everyone that's in here, and it's a part of it. So that thread will always serve you really, really well, and you just keep that going. So it's easier just to pop someone's name on there, just show them or help them understand what it is that they did wrong, and welcome them to post again in a way that is within group guidelines. Simplest way if you cannot do private messages because your group has gotten too big. Next one that you will come across in terms of group behavior that probably needs to be managed, and this one does not come a lot in this group. I am so grateful for. I'm really happy about that. But I have seen it commonly in other groups, and that is group fights amongst members. Couple of times it's happened in here, not very often, where one member, says something that upsets another, and then, the fight begins and on it goes. I see it far more commonly in others. When it happens in here and you get called to see it, I don't leave stuff like that because I find it energetically disturbing in the group. So I'm going to either delete those comments if I think that it's just turned into a shit fight or a cat fight, or I'll leave the stuff that's of value there. Now, if I find that one particular group member seems to be a serial triggerer, and we have had that a couple of times, we've had a couple of group members who seem to just be triggered by anything and very quickly, or seem to trigger others, commonly. You have to decide whether that person's energy is worth your time in your group, if they're triggering others or getting triggered too easily and not able to have understanding conversations where you respect one another's views, but rather not accepting another's view and, berating and abusing and all that sort of stuff. So if we find that and I see it and I feel that this person is someone who is triggered too easily or is on an agenda to put their view across too strongly, then we will, without any warning whatsoever, so we don't send out messages or anything to that person, we will just remove, because that's just the easiest way, just to slip them out the back door, delete the comments. Nobody even knows there's been a group upset, because not everyone needs to know that there's been a cat fight in the group. You just want to slip them out the back and keep things running smoothly, beautifully, and everyone happily getting along, or at least being able to view their voices and opinions without being scared that someone's going to jump down their throat for it. I'm happy to have conversations where our points of view differ, as long as we can present it in an easy way. So that's how you can handle, the group fights. Look at who's the one that seems to be the serial person that's getting in the fights. Just throw them out the back door quietly. You don't even have to mention their name in the group thread. You don't have to say anything. Just get rid of them. The other thing you can look at as well, if there's two there, you kind of have to sometimes decide which group member do I give most value to. So which one of these group members do I value the most? Okay, as in they're always contributing to the group, they have great staff, versus someone who may have just come in and joined in on the cat fight, but just because they wanted to be seen and heard. So that's another thing that will come into your decision making as well when you have a group fight like that, is who do I value most, and that will form your decision on whether a person needs to go or not and which one it is. So that's the tips there on group fights as well, which, as I said, thankfully we do not have too many, but I have been in other groups where I do see a lot of arguments and defending one another in their own positions, and then, you know, kind of putting someone else down that's got another view, which we won't tolerate in this particular space. You may not. It's going to depend on the purpose of your group. One other thing, as a group creator and a group owner, you will get, whether you like it or not, and that is group members private messaging you with their complaints. So it really comes down to you know, your call how you want to deal with those, but you will also get them. So if someone's not happy that their post has been deleted, or not happy about what someone said to them, not happy, I've even had this, not happy that a certain someone is in the group because that particular person in the group they think has got a name for, you know, doing something, so they don't want them in the same space. You'll get all sorts of stuff come through. I kid you not. You don't know what you're in for if you haven't started a group yet. But if you have, this is the sort of stuff you can expect. What I always do is, you don't want to put your queen on here, okay, and, you know, be arrogant, well, that's the way I run it, and blah, 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 blah. I always respond in the sense that, okay, so why was my post deleted? Or even worse, if you do delete someone from the group and ban them, sometimes you will get a private message saying, you're so-and-so for banning me from the group. I didn't do anything wrong, so. You don't want to join in on that fight, that cat fight, that thing of words. You just need to explain to them in as short a message as possible the very reason why their post was deleted, or they were banned from the group, or whatever it is, in very, very simple, direct and straight to the point language, explaining always why your decision was for the betterment of your community. So you take it away from being an individual decision that you, the queen or king, make. You really don't want to be taking that stand of, I'm the king, I'm the queen, my decision rules. Okay, because you're just going to come across as arrogant and a bully that way. You've always got to take it back to when you're explaining your position to someone, why it happened, what it's to do with the initial vision and the bigger purpose for your group, and why it is for the betterment of the community. So that's what you'll need to focus on when you are dealing with private messages that are complaints about any sort of activity that may had in your group. Okay, so remember always, it's not your way is the highway. It is always what is best for the group community, and always come from it from that angle, because that's what you're doing, isn't it? It is, you are protecting that group space and your community members. It is not about you being king or queen, stomping your feet and saying, this is my space and it will be done my way. That's only going to get you, looking at quite bad. Remember also, you just simply cannot please everyone. You know, this is just not going to happen. So there's going to be some people that are not, that might walk away and say, can't stand that person, blah, 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 blah. Deal with it, let it go, release it, focus on those who love you. One more tip before I go is how to get your group behind you when you start making these decisions about group behaviour. One of the things I have to do is every now and then we'll just put out a reminder in a post on, new members, please make sure you read the guidelines. Please check in. We're having to delete too many posts lately because people aren't reading the guidelines. So putting out a post every now and then like that also gets your community, the community, the one that you want, the community you want, are the members that are in there aligned with the same purpose and vision as your group. As you have for your group. Okay, so they're the members that are aligned with that. And they're the ones you want to make sure are on your side all the time. So publicly putting out every now and then oh, look, you know, sorry guys, once again, we've had to delete a group member for sending private messages to group members, unsolicited at that, private messages to group members who may have commented on their post and then selling them something in those private messages. Your group members, most of them who are aligned with the vision for your group, do not want that. Now, if they do, you know, you won't be concerned about it. But for many groups, you know, we don't want that. Remember, your group may be different than my group, so you've got to take this into account. But for me, I don't want that. I don't want people doing private, unsolicited messaging. If you connect in the group and you want to connect outside, that's fantastic, but it's got to be mutual. So make that decision in the group and then connect outside, but do not send the private, unsolicited selling messages just because someone has commented on your post and then hit them up saying, come join my group or come join my program. As most group members don't want that, this is where you will get your group members rallying around you and being on your side with all your decisions. When you can show them continuously with, you know, the occasional post every now and then, letting them know that you are looking after them and keeping this space safe for them, so that they also know that you are watching group behavior and that there are things that you will tolerate and things that you most definitely will not tolerate, and it's all aligned with the vision for your group and for the best interests of the people in it. So every now and then coming up and just showing lately what you've had to do, putting that reminder out there. It's not so much to warn other people not to do it, because the fact is most people who are doing behavior like that don't care about what you've got to say anyway. And that's a fact. They don't care. They're only in the group for their own self-interest. But those that do care, they're the ones that will take notice of that post. So you are not speaking to the people who are doing the unruly behavior. They are not even coming into the group to read your posts. They're not interested in them. They're just coming in to make their post and then, you know, poach or get what they can from it from the group members. They are not interested in reading other people's posts. So your post will not reach those people doing the wrong things. But what they will do is reach the group members who are aligned with your vision and value your space and your community. And that is how you get them to rally around you and support you, by you showing that you are taking care of the elements that are not aligned or who are poaching on them. You want to show them that you're looking after them. So that's the way to do it. So I've just given you a few tips there on how to handle some of the unruly behavior. Remember, spam, which is direct spam with no group contribution whatsoever, just delete and block and let it go. And there's no guilt involved, just boom. People who you do actually want in the group and they're giving value, you will have to reprimand, but we want to reprimand in a way that is polite and respectful, and so that they know what they did wrong. And we have to understand that you may not be able to private message everyone as your group grows and grows and gets bigger. So the group thread is often the easiest way to do that, especially if you're getting, in much larger groups. You could be getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people a day who haven't read the group guidelines. Remember, group fights, delete the one who is of least value, and that's the simplest way I can put it. Complaints to always come from why you made the decision and how it's aligned with the betterment of your community and the purpose of the group. It is not about you being king or queen of the space. So I do hope that those tips help you with managing your own group. It's a quiet day right now on, what are we, 2 o'clock my time, Sydney time. So thank you, Kevin, for watching and listening. Thank you, and making a few comments. And anyone else who has popped in as well. Magicians Facebook group mastermind. Now, we have starting that next Friday. So not this Friday, but June the 23rd on the Friday. Midnight, yay. That's probably why not too many people are around. The Aussies are probably over their lunch break, and the US people are probably, yeah, midnighting it. Lovely place to be, midnighting it. So Facebook magicians, Facebook group magicians, that is for people who have, oh, hi Christina, how wonderful to see you. I always love your pictures and your purple hair, mauve. It looks amazing. It is for group owners who want to grow their group, or find they're not getting enough engagement, or find that they haven't been able to monetize it yet, or I don't even know how to monetize it. We will work on all that. And it's also for people who want to start a group. So with this group, I got it going from 0 to 500 people within a week. So we had a nice lift off. So if you want to make sure you have your group take that lift off as well, then come join this particular mastermind program, okay? It's 90 days and really, really focused on looking at each of the individual groups of the participants in there, working them in a way that's aligned with your purpose, your vision, and with your personality as well. We all have different personalities, so we'll work the groups a bit differently. But generally, structure and concepts are often the same. We just have to realign them to you individually. As I said, we're going to concentrate on getting that growth in your group, getting engagement in your group. If there's one thing that most people said when I asked the question, 95% of people were saying no engagement, no engagement, no engagement happening in their groups at all. So we want to make that happen for you. We also want to show you how to get those leads out of your Facebook group. So that's what we'll be doing, and into your own database. Because if you're building a group, you don't just want them in Facebook land, because if Facebook decides, highly unlikely, but you never know, if they decide to go belly up tomorrow, you know, there's all your leads gone. So you want to get them from there and into another space, okay? And the other thing we want to do, sorry about that, is monetize your group sooner rather than later. So we don't want to hear, oh, I'm going to wait till 10,000. Okay, we want to get you used to the idea and get your group members used to the idea of the value that you've got to give them, and so that they start to get trained very early on of your value for that group. So I want you to jump onto that with me. I'm really looking forward to it. So because it is starts on Fridays here in Australia, and it is a weekly group call where we'll be looking at your Facebook groups individually and helping you all one by one with them on those calls. It will be Thursday nights for the US and Canada, of course, as well, with time difference, and same as Europe as well. So it will be in the afternoons. So if you want to know more, or if you want in, you just need to put yes below or private message me. If you just put yes, I want more information, I'll send you just our little, just our little schedule, our little rundown of what we're planning, and we will get you into that group. It is a paid mastermind, beware, and it is 60 days of weekly mastermind calls. So within that 60 days, your group will be flying. And also it's going to be a lot of fun as well. So Facebook group Magicians Mastermind, you need to jump in on that, because I will be closing that next week, next Thursday. So I want you to jump in and make sure that you are there for that first Facebook Magicians call, where we will have your Facebook group up and running. And getting it engaged. I have heaps and heaps of little tricks that I use to get this group flying from 0 to 5,000 in those first few months very quickly. So I will show you all those tricks. As you can see, we have slowed it down a lot, but I will show you my strategy and how it's worked, and we'll also be looking at other groups that run by people of mine, big and small, who have brilliant strategies and are working really, really well with their groups. What if the group is only 18 people? Kevin, that's going to depend on what you want to do with your group. Do you want to grow it? If it's like a paid group or something like that, this is not going to be for you. This particular mastermind, Facebook Magicians, or Facebook Group Magicians Mastermind, it's for those who want to build a larger community around them. Okay, so that's more what it's for. So for some of you who, you know, just want to have a little group that's just got a few members because of whatever, I've got some private small groups like that that belong to my programs. It's not for that. It is for building a community of which will become, you know, a pool of amazing opportunities for you, and a pool of possible leads and clients as well. That is what I'm talking about. So that's up to you, Kevin. If you do only have 18 people and you want to build it into community, then I'd say come join the mastermind, because we will get that happening. But if it belongs to one of your paid programs or something, and it's not about growth, it's about just having a place for those people. So you want to do that with this small group. You want to grow it into a community. If that's what you want to do, then this program is about that. It's about growth, engagement, and growing your group to a much, much bigger level. So if you want info, Kevin, just let me know and I will send you. Cool bananas. I will send you the stuff. So come along and join us. We have actually got people joining from all over. So we've got some Aussies, we've got some Europeans, and we have some people from the US as well. So it is going to be great, and that's what's going to be fabulous about it. You will all have access, of course, not only to my brilliance, my knowledge in regards of building a Facebook group quickly and keeping it aligned with your vision, but also you will have access to the insights of one another, as well as to what we can see from an outside view for your group, and we will improve that all. All right, Turu, if you want to get into that particular Facebook group mastermind with me and with the others, and get your group up and flying within that 60 days and have it highly engaged, and see you as the leader, we will get that happening for you. Okay. Good afternoon, good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world. And I will probably pop in again live tomorrow sometime as well. Bye-bye.